Cursive Yoga Short. Go ahead and come to standing near the front of your mat, lining your knees up so they face generally forward, feet parallel with each other, second, third toes facing generally forward. And then you can shift the weight forward and back in your feet. Eventually coming to a place where the weight feels even between the front and the back of your feet. Wiggle your toes. And then inhale, lift your toes up. Feel the arches of the feet lifting up with the toes. Connect down through parts of your feet that are not an arch. Then if it works for you, spread your toes apart and lowering the toes down to the ground, pressing the toes into the earth, but still trying to lift up through the arches, pulling up through the arches, moving up to your knees. Let your knees be soft, moving up to your hips, engaging the muscles of the pelvic floor, engaging the muscles around the hips, moving up to the core, engaging the core, low ribs lift in and up, hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Soften or close your eyes and come to your breath. Feel the air on the nostrils. And let the breath begin to lengthen and deepen. And then take a deep, full breath in and exhale out. Deep, full breath in, exhaling out. Deep, full breath in, exhale out. If you want to, you can keep that constriction of the throat you used to make the ha sound and come into Ujjayi breathing. So with the lips closed, still having that ha sound going on the inhales and the exhales. Feeling the breath move through you. And then just riding the wave of that breath. So with your next exhale, gently open your eyes, release the hands. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale, lower the arms to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Left hand can grab right wrist, exhaling over to the left. Inhale, up to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath moving through you. Then exhale, release the hands to the sides. Knees as wide apart as the feet. Inhale, bending your knees, Utkatasana. Exhale, up to standing. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, up to standing. Inhale, Utkatasana. Shift the weight to your right foot. Big step back with your left foot. Hands to the right knee. Take a moment, right knee stacked right on top of the ankle, pointing towards your second or third toe. If it's comfortable for you to do so, lower down to your elbows, coming a little bit deeper, and maybe slide the left foot further back away from you. Press down through both feet, hug into your hips, lengthen the spine long, and if you'd like, you can stretch the left arm alongside by the ear here. Breathe, nice, full, deep breaths. And then with your next exhale, lowering the left hand down to the ground, turning your chest to the right, and if you would like to, the right hand can lift up toward the sky. Breathing here, the whole time hugging in from your feet to your hips. And then exhale, lower the right hand down to the right knee, press strongly into that knee. Left hand lifts up, press strongly into the right foot. Left foot steps forward, hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, bend your knees, shift your weight to your left foot. Big step back with your right foot. Hands to that left knee, stack left knee on top of the ankle, pointed towards the second or third toe. Exhale, folding a little bit deeper, coming down to elbows. If you want to slide the right foot further back, you can. Press down through your feet, hug into your hips. Inhale, you can stretch the right arm forward. Exhale, you can pull that outer left hip back. So as you're extending the right hand forward, the outer left hip lengthens back for the wall behind you. And then with your next exhale, keeping that nice long spine, the right hand can lower to the ground, chest turns to the left hand can lift up toward the sky, breathing here. Nice, full, deep breaths. And then with your next exhale, go ahead, lower the left hand to the left leg. Press strongly into that leg. Right hand lifts up. Press strongly into the left foot. Right foot comes forward. Hands together in front of the heart. Shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath. And then go ahead, release your hands to your hips. Press the hips down, rooting from the hips into the earth. But at the same time, feel the arches of your feet lifting up and hugging back into your hips. Knees soft. And then I want you to think of your sternum and the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And without moving the shoulders or the head a whole lot here, I want you to use the bottom tips of the shoulder blades to lift the chest up, to lift the sternum up, and then to drop it back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop back down. The whole time the low ribs are hugging in. Inhale, lift up. Then walk the elbows and the hands towards each other, shoulder blades towards each other on the back, and feeling those bottom tips of the shoulder blades, just curling the chest a little bit more up toward the sky, using the bottom tips of the shoulders to lift the chest up. At the same time, your thumb feels your tailbone lengthening down. Breathe. And then inhale, lifting up, moving from the chest. Exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high, legs bent or straight. Exhale, fold. Hands to legs. You can always have blocks, or floor. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, stretch the spine, long lengthening. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. One more time. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reaching up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, lifting up to the chest, using the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, release. Now, with your next exhale, you're going to drop the chest down. So you're going to pull in the xiphoid process to the bottom of your sternum. And then you're going to lift back up. And again, head and shoulders staying relatively still. Exhale, go ahead, release. Inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, release. Inhale, back to neutral. Inhale, lift your chest up, and then curling the chest up to the sky, using the bottom tips of the shoulder blades to lift up the chest, breathing here. And then inhale, come back to center, and then just in center, let your chest slide from side to side. Come back to center here. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back, feel the breath. Exhale, release the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees deeply. Step back, downward facing dog. Pressing those hips up, back away from the hands. With your next exhale, bend the right knee, stretch out to the left leg. And then inhale, bend the left knee, stretch out to the right leg. Bending and straightening the legs, letting the hips move from side to side. With your next exhale, we'll lower the knees down, come to all fours. And in all fours, point your toes and slide your hips about halfway back towards your feet. From here, inhale, lift your wrists up off the ground. Exhale and lower them down. Inhale, lift your wrists up. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift the wrists up. With the wrists lifting up, see how it feels to slide the shoulders forward over towards the hands, only going as far as feels good for your body. And then go ahead and lower them back down, but act like you're going to lift the wrists up. Whenever you're weight bearing in your hands, you want the arches of the hands to be engaged, so you pretend like you're going to lift the wrists up. Then inhale and stretch the spine nice and long here. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, arch your back, head and tailbone up to the sky. Moving back and forth to the flow of your breath. The rhythm of this movement matches your breath. And then with your next inhale, come to a nice extended spine. Exhale, child's pose. Feet together, knees a little bit apart, hips back towards heel, head towards ground. Only going in either direction as much as feels good for your body. Breathing here. And then with your next inhale, sliding forward onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, you can gently rock your hips from side to side. Then coming back to center with the hips here. Bring the hands to either side of your chest underneath your biceps. Press down through both hips and keeping your belly on the ground. Lift up through the shoulders, maybe the chest too. Then pressing down through the hips. Inhale, lift the right leg just an inch or two. Stretch back through that leg. Exhale, lower it back down. Keeping your knees facing down, hips on the ground. Inhale, left leg lifts. Stretch long through that leg. Exhale, lower it back down. Stretching long through both legs. Float up through your hands. And remember those bottom tips of the shoulder blades? We'll curl them forward and up through the chest. Curling the chest up here. Just like when we were standing. Breathing here. Clicking your toenails into the ground and stretching long through the legs. Then keeping the shoulders here on the back, bottom tips of the shoulder blades curling in. Exhale, lower the hands down and just act like you're going to drag your hands back for the mat behind you, getting a little traction in the low back. And then from here, keep your hips heavy. Exhale, lean over to the left side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right side. Inhale to center. I am letting my right shoulder dip down and forward as I'm moving to the left. Inhale to center. And then I'm letting my left shoulder dip down and forward as I move to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, lower it back down. Releasing through the muscles. Gently rock the hips from side to side. And then coming back into a child's pose as you are ready. Breathing here. Inhale up to all fours. Feel free to stay in all fours. Or exhale, downward facing dog. Whether you're in all fours or downward facing dog, you can inhale the right leg up back behind you and exhale the right knee to the nose. If you're in downward facing dog, you could also move the shoulders forward over the wrists. Inhale, right leg lifts up high. Exhale, right knee towards your right armpit. Inhale, right leg lifts up high. Exhale, step the right foot forward outside the right hand. If it doesn't quite make it there, whether you're in all fours or down dog, you can grab the ankle and slide, wiggle, scoot the right leg the rest of the forward. Both hands inside the right leg. Hands a little bit in front of the shoulders. Inhale, stretch your spine nice and long out of the hips. Feel the outer right hip pulling back here. You can gently sway the hips from side to side. And then coming back to center with the hips. So both hips feel equal distance from the ground, level with each other. Pressing your right knee gently to the right. You can walk your hands over to the left. And you can walk them a bit more in front of the shoulders. If you want to, you can turn that left foot so the left heel comes down, the left toes turn to the left. And then you can pretend like you're doing a downward facing dog through the upper torso, pressing those hips up, back away from you, but at the same time the armpits stretch forward out of the hips. Inner edge of the armpits as much as the outer edge. Breathing here. And then walk your hands back in towards your feet. Lift your left heel up. Step back, all fours or downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, left knee into the nose, maybe shoulders forward over the wrists. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left knee into the left armpit. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot forward outside your hands. Sliding, wiggle, scooting. Hands a bit in front of the shoulders. The chest stretches forward. The outer left hip lengthens back. You can sway side to side through the hips here. And then coming to center. Feel free to stay here or walk your hands a bit further in front of the shoulders. Maybe over to the right too. Left knee presses to the left. Right heel might come down. You might turn those right toes. And then breathe. Nice full deep breaths. And then as you're ready, go ahead, walk your hands back in. Step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Look forward at the hands, bend the knees, and walk the feet towards the hands or the hands towards the feet. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, long spine, arms come wide, reach all the way up toward the sky. Hands together in front of the heart. Feel the breath moving through you. Connect from the feet into the earth. Exhale, release the hands to the hips, knees a little soft. Inhale, lift up to the chest. Exhale, lower down. Hands in cactus. Inhale, lift up to the chest again. Low ribs stay hugging in. Then go the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Curl those on the back and start to curl the chest up towards the sky here. Feeling those bottom tips of the shoulder blades lifting up to the chest. And then inhale, come back upright. Shift your weight over into your left foot. Find a nice point to spot at, to stare at. Come to your right toes, and keeping your eyes on that drishti, that gaze point, go ahead and lift your right foot up, breathing here. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Shift your weight into your right foot. Come to your left toes. And as you're ready, lift the left foot up. Nice, full, deep breaths. Exhale, go ahead and release. Release the arms and turn and face the long end of your mat. With your hands on your hips and your knees a little soft, I want you to lean over to one side and come up to center. Exhale, lean over to the other side and come up to center. Okay. And then from here, lift one hip up and then the other. So rocking the hips. Then come back to center here. And back in center, open the feet nice and wide apart. Take a moment with your feet nice and wide apart. Turn your knees to face forward. Second, third toes face forward too. And if you want some measurements here, feet wide enough apart that you're working some traditional measurements are hands in a T, feet almost under your wrists. So you can think about that, or hands. You can think about that, but if that's too wide for you, feel free to be shorter. Someplace you can comfortably hug in. Then from here, the left toes turn towards the right toes turn all the way out to the right. Right knee spins towards second or third toe, hands into a T. Looking down at that right knee, exhale and bend the right knee so it's about over the ankle. Inhale and straighten. Now if it was easy to bend that right knee past the ankle, maybe go wider apart. Exhale, bend the right knee so it's about on top of the ankle. Right forearm to the right leg, gently pressing the right knee open. Feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades on the back, and then if it works for your shoulders, you can swing the left arm alongside by the ear. CursiveYogaShort082820. Pressing down through both feet, lengthening the spine. And just noticing here that you're leaning into the left hip, but the angle of the legs is a bit different than when we're like leaning from side to side or lifting hips up and dropping them down. Staying nice and steady through the leg. Go ahead, rise up through the torso. Look over the right fingers. And then exhale, go ahead, release, soften the left knee. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Left knee points toward second or third toe. Inhale the hands to a T. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Left elbow to the left leg, shoulders on the back. Arm comes up over the round side by your ear. Breathing here, pressing down through both feet, hugging muscularly into your hips. Feel the muscles of the pelvic floor engaging, lifting in and up. Feel the low ribs engaging, lifting in and up. Feel the breath move through you. CursiveYogaShort082820. And then pressing strongly through the feet, rise back up through the torso. Look over the left fingers, warrior two. And then go ahead, soften your knees, come back up. Turn all 10 toes to face forward. And then here, heel toe your feet in towards each other. Shake out the legs. Soften your knees. And again, tick-tocking the hips. So when we lean to the side, it's this action. It's like one hip is lifted, the other hip is dropping. Other side. With a combination of this action to the spine. The reason your spine isn't C-shaping is because you're dropping and leaning at the same time. So you can kind of even play with that. Like if you were let your torso go with your hips, you'd end up in a lean. Come back to center. Open the legs nice and wide apart. Left toes turn towards the right toes turn to the right. Inhale, hands into a T. Exhale, leaning into that right hip. So you see that hip is dropping, you're leaning. Come back to center. Exhale, lean into that right hip. Right hand comes wherever is comfortable. Left hand can come forward, left shoulder on the back, and then left arm can lift up to the sky. With your chin in neutral, press the back of the head back. Line your spine up. And then you can either turn your head to face down, or turn your head to face up, or gently turn your head down, and then up with that neck in a nice line with the rest of the spine. Breathe. Press down through your feet, come all the way back up. Soften your knees. Right toes turn in, left toes turn out. Inhale, hands out into a T. Exhale, leaning into that left hip. Left hand comes down. Right arm swings forward. Bottom tips of the shoulders gently on the back. And then right arm lifts up. Press the back of the head back. Line the spine up with the rest of the head and neck up with the rest of the spine. And then exhale, go ahead and turn down. Inhale, turn your head up. Exhale, turn your head down. Inhale, turn your head up. Breathe. Press down through your feet. Come up to standing. Turn all 10 toes to face forward. Hands to those hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Knees soft. Let your hips fold you about halfway down. Then inhale, stretch your spine long again. Exhale, gently let the back round. And then with your next inhale, try to see if you can move your hips some more, lifting the hips maybe up higher. Don't force them though. And then exhale, hands to legs or to the floor. Breathe. Nice, full, deep breaths. Okay, hands to the hips, shoulders on the back. Inhale, long spine all the way up to standing. Heel toe the feet in towards each other. Shake out the legs. Maybe do some shoulder rolls. And then from here, we're going to stay near the center of the back for the moment, but turn and face the skinny side, the narrow end. Hands to your hips, knees soft, and again, lifting up the chest. So bottom tips of the shoulders, lift up the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your chest up again, bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Let them curl the chest up towards the sky. Feel your tailbone still lengthening down, so it's not lifting up. It's not tucking under either. And then go ahead and come back up. Bring your hands to the tops of your thighs. Press the tops of the thighs back. So that action will make your butt for a moment stick out. But then you're going to pull the low ribs back too. And so your thighs will move back. Your pubic bone in front will move back. Your tailbone will move a little bit forward to meet it, but not so much that you tuck. And you'll have a nice balanced low back. Okay, from here, keep the thighs and the pubic bone pressing back. Keep your tailbone lengthening down, or for the tailbone, the bottom tip moving forward to the pubic bone. And then here, what I want you to do is lengthen the spine, shoulders on the back, and inhale, let your hips come forward. So you are pushing the hips forward, but then you're lengthening the low back out of the hips, shoulder blades on the back, chest lifts up a little bit. And then exhale, go ahead, let the hips come back. Inhale, nice long spine, let the hips move forward, but lengthen the low back out of the hips. And then exhale back. And again, what you're being careful of not doing is letting these thighs spin out. So you're trying to press the thighs back to keep them nice and centered. One more time. Thighs press back, tailbone lengthens, pubic bone moves back, pelvic floor is engaged. And then here, move the hips forward, lift the chest up, feel the bottom tips of the shoulders lifting up some, and exhale back. Okay, from here, hands to the hips, lift up through the chest. And again, doing that action, letting the hips move forward if that feels good for you, letting the low back lift up out of the hips and coming a little bit deeper into the back bend. Breathing here. And the reason I come up to my toes sometimes is because I am working my legs really strongly. So I am pressing the tops of the thighs back really strongly. Inhale, lift all the way back up. Round number 2, hands into a cactus, bottom tips of the shoulder blades on the back. Lifting the chest up, using those bottom tips of the shoulder blades. If you want to, your hips can move forward. Again, thighs and pubic bone move back though. Lift the low back out of the hips. Breathe in here. And then inhale, come back up. Round number 3, arms by the sides. Same action, pubic bone back, tailbone lengthens, thighs press back, hips move forward, chest lifts up, bottom tips of the shoulder blades on the back. If you want to, you can bring your hands to the back of the legs. Breathing here. Nice, full, deep breaths. And then inhale, come back up. And then from here, what I want you to do with the hands on the hips, knees a little bit soft. Inhale, lift the sternum up. Exhale, release. With your next exhale, drop the sternum down. Inhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Pause, inhale here. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, release. One more time. Inhale, up. Exhale, release. Inhale and center. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, release. And then from here, I want you to slide the chest side to side. And again, you're trying to keep your hips still. You're trying to keep your head still. Not a whole lot of movement in the shoulders right now. And then from here, come back to center. Inhale, lift up to the chest. And then go ahead, exhale, slide your chest over to the left. And then with your next inhale, actually drop it down. Exhale to the right. Inhale, lift through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale to the right. Okay, then smooth this out. Second side. And I am doing little shoulder rolls there. You might have noticed. That's fine. Inhale, lift up to the chest. Exhale, the chest to the right. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to the right. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale to the left. And then smoothing it out. Trying to keep the head in center. Yes, the shoulders are rolling some. That's fine. And then come back to center here. Let the hips sway from side to side. And remember how we work the tailbone lengthening so it doesn't stick back up behind you, but it doesn't tuck under. Well, keep that nice lengthened tailbone as you slide the hips from side to side and then do circle around to the hips. But again, the tailbone doesn't lift up. And then change the direction of the circles. Okay, come back to center, standing near the front of the mat. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath move through you. Exhale, release the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, bend your knees, step back, plank pose. Shoulders over the wrists. Breathing here, feel the core hugging in, feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades hugging in towards each other on the back. Then exhale, coming into a child's pose. Nice, full, deep breaths. Come forward onto your belly. Gently rock your hips from side to side. Come back to center. Press down through the hips, hands on either side of the chest, stretching long through the legs with your feet on the ground. Float your hands up, find the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, and start to curl your chest up towards the sky here. Then keep this lift up. Keep your shoulders in the chest where they are. Lower the hands down. Act like you're going to drag the hands back. Find the bottom tips of those shoulder blades again. And if you want to, if it feels good for your back, go ahead, use your bottom tips of the shoulder blades to lift the chest up higher here. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale and lift up. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Rest your head on the hands. Gently rock the hips from side to side. And then come back to center with the hips. Pressing the hips down. Hands on either side of the chest. Inhale, lifting up through the shoulders and the chest. If you want to, with your knees facing down, lift up through the legs. You can float up through the hands, and you can interlace the hands behind the back if either of those options feel good for you. Stretching forward through the chest, stretching back through the feet. Breathe here. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Rest your head on the hands. Gently rock the hips from side to side. Come back to center here with your knees outer hip distance width apart. Bring the arms along the sides again, lifting up through the shoulders and the chest. Press down so strongly through the hips that when you exhale and bend your knees, the low back doesn't contract on you. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend, holding the bent knee position. If you want to, you can grab your feet, and if you like to, you can kick the feet up, back behind you. Breathing here, Dhanurasana. And then when you're ready, exhale, gently release, coming back to your belly, gently rocking the hips from side to side. And then making your way back into a child's pose. Come up to sitting with the right leg forward out in front of you, the left knee bent. If you want to, you can cross the left foot over the right leg. Hugging onto that left knee, right knee and toes point up to the sky, right leg anchors down, then twisting to your left hand back behind you, turning. If you want to, you can take the left arm across the right leg in numerous ways. And then inhale, unwind. Lift your left foot up a little bit and let the knee come over to the side. Then there's this hole between your legs. Take your hands to your left shin. Sit up nice and tall. Lift the left leg up. Gently rock the leg. Trying to sit up nice and tall here, so you might need to bend the right knee a little bit, and that's fine. Or sit on some height. Sit on a pillow, a blanket, or something to lift your hips up higher. That can be helpful. Come back to center, still sitting up nice and tall. If your hips are fairly open, you can try to walk your leg up higher on your arms. So now I'm holding my leg in my elbows. I might try to sit up nice and tall here and rock. And then coming back to center, being careful not to twist my ankle. Instead, having a nice firm ankle, grabbing my left foot with my right hand, bringing my right hand over to the right. And again, I'm not bending my ankle. I'm not letting my ankle go sideways. I'm keeping my ankle strong here, sitting up nice and tall, and just moving my leg in my hip socket a bit here too. And then exhale, go ahead and bring the left foot inside the right leg. Framing the right leg with your hands, sit up nice and tall. If you need to bend the right knee, do so. Make sure you can move your hips, not just your low back. And then tilt your hips so the tailbone is sticking back behind you a little bit. Grab someplace comfortable on the right leg. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold. Breathe. Janu Shirshasana. And then inhale, come back up. Lift the left leg up, straighten the left leg, bend the right knee, cross the right foot over the left leg if you want. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, turning to the right. Left arm can cross over if you'd like. Breathe. I'm crossing my elbow over with a strong internal rotation, which if your shoulder is not used to a strong internal rotation, I don't recommend it. I recommend keeping the hand up. If you've done some rotator cuff strengtheners, if you know what that means, then you can do this rotation. And then inhale, go ahead, unwind, lifting the right ankle up, grabbing in between the hole in the leg with your hands, holding onto your shin, leg staying low at first, gently rocking. And again, listen to your hips, so feel free to stay here. If you want to though, after a while, sliding the leg up higher on your arms, coming up to elbows, still trying to sit up nice and tall and rock. And then from here, again, sitting up nice and tall, maybe with the left hand, grab the right foot, but don't twist the ankle. So that twisting of the ankle can cause pain in your knee joint. You're standing strongly through the ankle. Right hand comes back behind you, and keeping that ankle nice and steady and strong, you can move the foot around, but I'm not letting my ankle bend. Breathe. There are times when that's okay, by the way, to let your ankle bend, but you do have to be careful of that. And then bring the right foot inside the left thigh. Sitting up nice and tall here, bending the left knee however much you need to do so, and to be able to tilt the hips. And again, you are trying to keep the left knees and toes pointing up to the sky as much as possible, working the left inner thigh muscles, left inner leg muscles. And then tilting the tailbone so it's sticking back. Grab someplace comfortable on the left leg. Think of your sternum, turning it over that left leg. Stretch your spine long, lift up through the chest, and then exhale and fold. Inhale, come back upright. Straighten both legs out in front of you, hands to the thighs. Bend your knees enough that you can tilt the hips so the tailbone sticks back. And then with your tailbone sticking back, it also sometimes helps to walk your butt cheeks back a little bit. You can grab someplace comfortable on the legs. Inhale and lengthen the spine. And then exhale and gently fold. And even here, I'm moving the bottom tips of my shoulders gently on the back. I'm sliding my shoulders a little bit away from the ears so my neck has some room. I'm typically not letting my shoulders relax completely, although there are times I might do that. I'm typically keeping a little bit of engagement through my shoulders. Breathe. bring the hands back behind you, fingers facing forward or out to the side. And then here, lift up to the low back, open through the chest, open through the throat. Again, those bottom tips of the shoulder blades lifting up through the chest, but the low ribs still hugging in. And then from here, release and make your way all the way onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. Then, with your knees bent, go ahead and lower the soles of the feet to the ground, feet about hip distance width apart. Have your arms right by the sides of the torso, but bend your elbows so your fingers point up to the sky, the palms face in towards each other. With the back of the head pressing into the ground, chin and neutral. Inhale the shoulders up towards the ears a little bit. Exhale, wiggle the shoulders underneath you. So chin and neutral, back of the head, the shoulders root down, upper arms root down. And then again, bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Lift your chest up, core engaged, hips for the moment are on the ground. Breathe here. Feel free to stay here, or without tucking your hips under or tilting them back, inhale, just lift them up an inch or two. Exhale, lower them down. Inhale, the whole time your chest is lifting up, lift your hips up, stretch your hips and chest away from each other. Exhale and lower down. And then with your next inhale, if you want, you can start to lift the hips and the chest up higher. Exhale and lower. And again, the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are lifting the chest up, and the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are pressing your chest towards your head, but you're not tucking your chin under and moving your head back towards your chest. Breathing here. The same time, your hips are stretching for the ball out in front of you, and your knees are also stretching forward for the wall out in front of you. So they're stretching towards your feet, your hips and your knees, your chest and your bottom tips of the shoulder blades are stretching towards your head. Okay, next time we'll hold. Inhale, lift up, hold here. You can wiggle the shoulder blades underneath you more. You can bring your hands to a fist and you can straighten the arms. With your arms straight, you can walk your hands in closer towards each other. And if you can clasp with your arms fairly straight, then with your arms fairly straight, you can clasp. Breathe. And then with your next exhale, release your hands. If you clasp them, lower the hips down. Bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. Press the tops of the thighs away from you, gently swaying from side to side here. And then come back to center. Straighten the left leg along the ground. Left knee and toes point up to the sky. Press down through your hips. Press down through your left leg and hug your right knee in towards you. As you hug the right knee in towards you, feel that outer right hip lengthening away. And you're pressing your right knee back into your hands, even as your hands are hugging the knee in towards you. From here, you can open the right arm over to the right side. Cross your left arm over the right leg. Keep the right shoulder on the ground. Lift the right hip up and twisting it to the left. Breathe. And then inhale, come back to center. You might have to center your hips. Sometimes when you twist, your hips move a little bit. And then second side, right leg straightens. Press down strongly through that right leg. Hug the left leg in. But feel both hips nice and heavy on the ground. Your left knee is pressing out into your hands, even though the hands are pulling the left leg in. And feel that outer left hip stretching for the front of the mat. Breathing here. And then from here, left arm can open to the left, right arm can cross over the left leg, lifting the left hip up, but keeping the left shoulder on the ground and twisting. Inhale, come back up to center. Hug both knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. Then you can open the knees apart, stretch the spine long, still rocking. And if you want to, you can flip the feet up to the sky, happy baby pose, holding onto the back of your knees, the lower legs, or your feet. Pulling down with your arms, knees moving towards the ground on either side of the torso, but pressing back up again some with the legs as you rock from side to side. Coming to center, full body stretch. Stretch the arms up above the head, stretch the legs along the ground, opening everything up. And then Shavasana, arms by the sides, palms face up. Legs a little bit wider apart than the hips. If leg straight bothers your low back, bend your knees. But just coming into a place that you feel comfortable and that you can rest. And then in this place, start with your feet. Just make sure your feet feel fairly even. Then move up to your hips. And most of us have twists in our low back and our hips, so the hips might not be exactly even here. You might need to actually rock them a little side to side and then come into a place that feels more even. And that might mean you might have to wiggle or adjust them. Then move up to your shoulders. And again, just see if they feel nice and even. With your chin in neutral, back of the head feels heavy. Take a deep, full breath in, expanding through the spine, expanding through the torso. And with your next exhale, let the low ribs move towards the ground. Get a fullness in the low back. And then one more deep, full breath in. And with your next exhale, just let everything go. Let yourself relax into the earth. Let go of the breath. And it might take a little bit more time to just notice where tension is still holding on, to release out those spots. Give yourself as much time as you need. But eventually, let go of the breath completely and just let yourself rest in Shavasana. And I invite you to stay in Shavasana for 10 minutes or so. However, for the sake of video, I'm going to come out and end the video. But really, I invite you to stay here for like 10 minutes. When it is time to come out, you will come back to your breath, do small movements, wiggling fingers and toes. Eventually doing larger movements, stretching arms and legs. And then when you are coming out, traditionally you come into a ball, so you hug your knees into the chest. You can rock a little bit here. Making your way over onto your side, traditionally right. If you need to go left, go left. But you pause on the side. You let your chest turn towards the ground. And you stay here because you don't want to hurry this experience. Then, after that pause, keeping the sensation of heaviness and weightiness, then you come up to a comfortable sitting position. And even when you come up to sitting, legs and hips still feel heavy. I'm going to finish with the Om again. I hope you're still in Shavasana. Stay there. Take a deep, full breath in.